Hi everybody, my name's Rink Summerday and I'm the STEM director for the Girl Scouts of the Desert Southwest. And today we're talking carnivores. One of the reasons I wanted to be a wildlife biologist is because I loved wild animals growing up. I could sit in the yard and watch birds. I knew how many squirrels were in our neighborhood, and it didn't change as an adult. And one of the most fascinating animals I ever have encountered are carnivores. So herbivores eat plants. What do carnivores eat? Don't say meat, because think about it. If you're a spider and all you eat are flies meat? Well, they're protein, but they're bugs. So they're not meat like you think of, like a pork chop or bacon or a steak or something like that, okay? So we say carnivores are animals that eat other animals, because if you're a spider and all you're eating are flies, you're still a carnivore. Really, you're an insectivore, but that's a type of carnivore. Now, some animals that are carnivores can also be herbivores, like us, right? We eat plants like lettuce and strawberries and apples, and we eat other animals, right? Think about hamburgers, bacon, fish, shrimp. Oh, I'm making myself hungry here. So we're omnivores, and animals that eat plants and other animals that eat both, those are called omnivores. And today, we're going to talk about 4 of the most common types of predators and carnivores that we have here in the desert Southwest. And the first one we're going to talk about is a coyote. Now, if you saw my video of how to draw a coyote skull, you'll recognize this guy right away. Now, this is a model, okay? So it is made out of a plastic resin, but they are to size and shape, all right? So we can see here that on this guy, his bottom jaw does come off. And one of the ways that I know it's a canine is because of this part right out here. This is called the snout. Think about like your nose, right? So if I put my finger right here in front of the eye socket, we can see that the snout comes out in the front. My finger's kind of in the middle of the skull, and back here is all the brain, okay? So my finger on this one is in the middle. That means it's a canine. Canines are members of the dog family. So think about what kind of wild animals we have around here that are members of the dog family. Oh, I know. Right here, we have a coyote, okay? So this is my coyote skin. We can see his ears, okay? We can see his nose. He's even got his whiskers. And coyotes can be pretty big animals, okay? They have really great camouflage for blending in the desert, in the forest. They've got really big puffy tail, right? So when it gets cold, they can wrap it around and keep their nose warm when they sleep. Now, on a coyote, we have these teeth here. These are called canines. Those are those teeth right there. They use those teeth for ripping and tearing. They have these back teeth here called carnassial. Those are like our molars. If we use your tongue, you can feel ours are way different than theirs. Look at that scissor. Let's see if I get them lined up here. Look at that scissor action, okay? Ripping and tearing. So that is a coyote skull.
Coyotes, or Canis latrans, are a member of the canine family. They can weigh up to 46 pounds as an adult, have an average speed when they're in hot pursuit of prey of 35 miles an hour, reaching a peak of about 43 miles an hour. And they can stand up to about 2.5 feet high, depending on how well they're fed. As you can see, they have a very large territory, covering all of the continental United States, most of Canada, all the way north from Alaska down through Mexico into South America. That one animal covers a lot of territory.
Now we're going to talk about a feline. So what animal do you think we have around here that's wild, that's a member of the feline family? What does feline mean? Canine, dog, feline. You're right. Feline is cat. So what kind of animals do we have around here that are wild cats? And there's no such thing as a wild cat. I know there's tons of high schools out there and that's their mascot, but it's actually this guy. Okay, so short stubby tail, like a bobcat. But think about it, which is more like for a football team, Wildcats or Bobcats? Yeah, exactly, Wildcat. Okay. So now if I put my finger right here in front of the eye socket, I can see I have a very flat face. Okay. Think about a pussycat. You may have a kitten or a cat at home, right? They have a very flat nose. And if I turn it, you can see that it's a heart shape, and that heart shape is a characteristic of felines. So we have a very flat face and we have a heart-shaped nose. Now if I open up, you can see we still have those canines, right? Very good for ripping and tearing. Large carnassial teeth here in the back, but it's that face that makes it a feline, okay? Now, I know I said coyotes are omnivores, and coyotes will eat about almost anything, right? Felines, on the other hand, these guys are true carnivores. These guys only want meat. They can't really live off of things like berries or plants or insects like a coyote can. So these guys are your true meat eaters, and the favorite food of a bobcat are jackrabbits and cottontail rabbits. To them, it's like pizza. If you could eat pizza every day, these guys can eat rabbits every day. And we have our bobcat skin here. Okay, you can see his ears are a little dried out, but he does have his little pointy ears and a little tuft on his ears. Okay, he also has great camouflage. All right, so this is his belly spots. And these guys like to hang up in branches and look down in order to pounce on their prey. So think about the next time you're looking up in a tree. What do you see, right? You see the spots, the shadow spots. So that's our bobcat. I wish you guys could pet him. He is so nice and soft. And one of the reasons he's called a bobcat is he's got the little bobby tail there, okay? So that is his tail. There's his back legs. That's his tail. That is why he's called a bobcat, okay? Because of that very short, stubby tail.
The bobcat, or Lynx rufus, is a medium-sized wildcat that can be found almost anywhere within the continental United States. It can go from desert to grasslands to the deciduous forest of the far northeast. And I don't think there is any baby animal cuter than a baby bobcat.
Next one we're going to talk about looks like this. I want you to think about everything that we learned, right? So if I put my finger like this, is it a canine or is it a feline? What do you think? Canine, you're right. Okay, so right there, even though it's not as much of a snout as what it was on the coyote, we still have a snout. Okay, we know it's a predator because we have those sharp teeth, right? We have those canine teeth there, large carnassial teeth here in the back. As with the other two, the eyes are down front. If I have the eyes down front, right in front of our face, okay, means you can see depth perception, makes you a predator. Your eyes aren't on the side of your head like a rabbit. So let's see. Member of the canine family, but smaller than a coyote. No, not a baby wolf. No, these all would be adults. Anybody have an idea? A fox, exactly. And this little skull right here goes with this guy right here. So here we have our gray fox, okay? And you can see he's called a gray fox because he's a lot of gray. Now he does have some red on him, some cream colors on him, okay? But we have our gray fox here. Foxes also have that really big, long, bushy tail. Now a lot of people say, wow, I didn't realize that a fox skull was that small. Well, think about it. What do they have on the outside? They have all that fur. They have the ears, the whiskers, right? Our heads are much bigger than our skulls. We got all this kind of stuff, right? Like our nose and our cheeks and our hair. So our head is way bigger than our skull. Same thing with these guys. Plus, when you think about it, how many times a day do you actually go up and pet a fox or pet a coyote or pet a bobcat? You don't, right? And usually when you see a fox, one of the first things you see is that really big, long, fluffy tail in the back. Okay, so we're not really looking at their heads. So, but if I asked you, show me with your hands, how big would a Chihuahua be? Right? Maybe that big. Okay. How big would a German Shepherd be? Like that big. right? Those are animals we're used to. We see those all the time. Maybe you have one in your house. Maybe a friend of yours has one. Maybe a neighbor down the street that you go past all the time. We know how big those animals are. But wild animals, we don't always make sure that we don't always see them. Sometimes you're like, hey, did you see that fox by the side of the road? Or, poor bunny rabbit. Sometimes we don't even see them. You just, whoo! What am I talking about? Yes, a skunk, right? Yeah. Sometimes you just see a skunk, you just smell it. You don't even see it as you're going down the road. So we don't really have a good connection with how big or how little some wildlife is. All right, I got one more that I'm going to show you.
The next little guy we're going to talk about is the gray fox, known as Urocyon argenteus, which is quite a mouthful. This little fox weighs between 8 and 10 pounds when it's an adult, and for as lightweight as it is very long. It can be 2 feet long, but remember, we talked about that big fluffy tail at the other end of it.
All right, once again, I want you to use everything that we've talked about, right? So I'm going to put my finger here. What do you think? Kind of a flat face, right? Oh, look at the shape of that nose, and wow, look at those teeth. Okay. Very large canine, large total scissor action here, right? So, obviously, member of the cat family, bigger than a bobcat. Yes, a mountain lion. And I'm sorry, I have no mountain lion skin to show you because those are very expensive. So I don't have enough money to get myself a mountain lion skin, but I will show you some pictures and we'll talk about them here.
The mountain lion, or the puma concolor, is the prime example of why we use scientific names. This animal has more than 36 common names, and it all depends on where you are. So where I grew up in Pennsylvania, we called them cougars. Down here in the desert Southwest, they're mountain lions, or pumas. In the New England states, they're called catamounts. Down south in the southern states, they're called panthers. But puma concolor means a cat of one color. So he doesn't have spots, he doesn't have stripes, he just has that gorgeous brown color. Now, an adult can get up to 3 feet high, live 8 to 13 years in the wild, and they are big, hefty fellas, with the males going up to 220 pounds. Females don't get that big, about 140 pounds, but their top running speed is 50 miles an hour. These are one awesome carnivore.
I'd like to thank you for joining me today, and I hope you learned something about some predators that we have here in the desert Southwest. At the end of this video, I've included some still photos of just the skulls, a sideways view and a head-on view. That way, if you're interested, you can do some scientific drawings or some sketches of them. I have them labeled. If you do some, please send them to our Flipgrid so we can share them with everyone else. Thank you very much. Stay well, stay green. Bye, everybody.